So this is a quick add-on, actually. I created this set of scripts that provisions an event hub and creates a managed identity and creates some access policies. And the goal was to make it really simple to create an event hub for some testing of an app. And so basically this is what it looks like. Namespace, some event hubs, access policies on the event hubs, access policy on the namespace, and then a managed identity has read and write access. Sender and receive on the namespace, so you could create an app in an Azure resource, give it that managed identity, and then you'd have access to that. All right, and so it turns out though that you can run these scripts, and somebody gave me some grief about it, and they're like, dude, why are you doing scripts? Instead, you should do templates. So let's do a template. So basically what you do is, for what I did here, is I created the namespace and everything. So I went to the Azure portal, and it turns out what you can do is you can actually export a resource into a template, and then you can use that as a template. So that's what I did. And this is what I ended up with. A bunch of this stuff that looks like this. And basically it's got a parameter section and a resources section, and then it hard codes everything, and I want a template drive everything. So this has got an Azure region, it's got a namespace name, it's got the auth rule name, it's got the user assigned identity name, it's got all the event hub names, and it's got the auth rule name for the individual event hubs, and I gave them all the same name. I didn't have to do that. So that way I could change this thing around like per environment or something else. So I changed the parameter driven. So let me, how do you do that? You know what, let me copy. And we'll go back to the template area, and I'll just show you this. So you can go create template. And we're going to give it a name, my template. My event hub. Oh, can't do that. And we're going to call it here. Oh, some so cool. And then we're going to click OK. If I can find my mouse again. There it is. And so this is like the default one. How many parameters, how many resources, right? So we're just going to delete that, and we're going to paste in mine. We're going to look at mine real quick. So the one I'm pasting in has got some default values for the names of these, and then basically it goes out and it creates an assigned identity, it creates auth rules, it creates the event hubs, it creates more of the event hubs, and then it creates the network rule sets for me, which I didn't even know I needed, the authorization rules that we talked about on the other thing, the consumer group, which I didn't put down in the other page, and you'll get down all the way down to all the consumer groups and all that kind of stuff. Now, the one thing that you know what, let's start this thing while we're looking at it. So I'm going to hit OK, and that added the template, all right? And so I can, we're still in the add process. Okay, so there's the template. So sooner or later, if I hit reload, we can see that this is my template, right? And we can deploy this template. So the only thing that's a little weird about this, right, and it's not weird, you take a running system and you export it. And the resource, it's basically all the things in a resource group. So when you load the template, you got to actually have a resource group, and I don't have one, so I'm going to call it my resource group. All right. And I'm going to put it in this subscription, which I'm not going to tell you what it is. And then these are all the parameters when we looked at, so these are all the parameters that got pulled in, right? Azure region, hub event, success name, those kinds of things. And you can see that that's the names we have here. And it picked up all the default values. And then I can say, I want to purchase this. And it will go and deploy it. It'll validate it first. And once it's validated, it will initialize the deployment, and then you'll see it show up here. Okay. So, and it will go into my resource group. So if I were to go to resource groups. Oh, hasn't created it yet. So, oh no. Yeah, it should create a new resource group. I'll just kind of hang around. There we go. So there's my resource group, and it'll start dropping all that in. So that's really, if we let this run a while, you'll get what you want. So the main thing to do here, though, when you create these templates, I'm going to move this over. Actually, you know what? It's right here. There's basically a template with the default values. And then the other file you got to edit is there's a parameter file. So you can actually run this with a parameter file that will override the default values. And basically, whatever parameters you put in the other file, you put them in here also with their values. In this case, I never loaded this file, so we just ran with the template.json, which means we ran with default names here. Okay, so this thing will continue to run. I'll just give you a little feel for it if I click here. And I'll have to cover that up, and you'll see that it started creating all that stuff. So this takes about 10 minutes. So that's all it is. The idea was, if you want to create an event hub setup with some parameters around it, you got two choices here now in this repo. One is you can create it with the scripts, which are just Azure CLI, which makes them easy to update. And the other is you can play with it with a resource template. I hope that gives you a little feel how far it works. And that's going to take a while. And I'm going to hang up now and give you the rest of your day back.